Welcome to this week's edition of SOJ Ludo Television, a weekly broadcast by me every Wednesday where I share my thoughts on contemporary issues. This week I'm sharing on conflict in the workplace in a topic I have titled Resolving Conflicts in Business. If everyone in your business has the same idea or you all consistently agree on most things, chances are you won't be operating at your organization's peak potential. Conflict is inevitable, especially if you're exploring new product or service lines or you're taking critical business decisions. For startups, the inevitability of conflict is heightened by the obvious struggle to grow the business or face the consequence of business failure. There are lots of different reasons for conflict at work. It can result from differing points of view. It might result from personality clashes like two senior or influential executives with different opinions, neither willing to lose the argument. Conflicts sometimes resolve themselves peacefully, but let me offer some advice for teams that want to get better at conflict and use it to drive more robust solutions and decisions. These are particularly useful for those times when conflicts are persistent, unproductive, or have reached a stalemate. We often think of conflict as interpersonal, but any difference of opinion can trigger a conflict without any personality differences. To solve a problem, which is what a conflict is, by the way, you must first be willing to acknowledge the problem by accepting that it exists, and then you commit yourself to trying to solve it. Here are my suggested steps to resolving conflicts at work so that the full potential of the business can be realized. 1. Other people's opinion matter. We human beings are wired to defend our opinions. Once our opinions are formed, we begin to look for logical reasons to justify our position. Everything that goes contrary to that opinion is rejected and fought against fiercely. When a conflict arises, our self-defense mechanism is triggered, and the most persuasive opinion often triumphs. Now, this is okay where the other party or parties are persuaded to go with the winning idea. But what if that winning idea is bad for business, and it just scaled through because of the persuasive skills of the speaker? After all, a great lawyer can argue a case and still win a case for a criminal. Therefore, the ability to separate the person, their personality, or their status will enable both parties to come to an informed resolution. This requires both parties to exercise a little patience and first seek to understand each other rather than be understood. 2. Accommodate emotions. For most of my 34 years career, I've heard and even I have used the phrase, keep your emotions out of this when dealing with conflicts. In fact, people who are emotional in conflicts are branded either as weak or unreasonable. While it is true that decisions made when one is emotional are often wrong, it is difficult to get anyone who is moved into the emotional realm to reason logically or to separate the issue from the person they're in conflict with. This is because our emotions drive our decisions, and our decisions drive our reasoning. According to Jonathan Haidt, reasoning was not designed to pursue the truth. Reasoning was designed by evolution to help us win arguments. Given that emotions affect our reasoning and decisions, it is actually good to allow the emotions to flow. Creating a place where people can be vulnerable without fear of abuse is critical for any form of conflict resolution. 3. Separate interest from position. Each side comes to a conflict with a position, their position, and both sides start to discuss with a view to defending and retaining their position. Therein lies the problem, and therein lies the conflict. What the smart negotiator or party needs to do is to be clear on what their interest on the matter is, rather than trying to negotiate from their position, and then move on to find the other party's interest, as against negotiating on their position. For example, years ago, in my house, my wife and I got home and found our children quarreling over something. I can't remember what it was, but it was a pack or a box, something like this, a box of something. I can't remember what exactly it was. And here was my daughter and my son, then ages, I think 8 and 6. My son 8, my daughter 6, quarreling and struggling. No, it is mine, I picked it first. Oh, it is mine, I picked it first. And that went on for quite a while until we stopped them and asked what really was the problem. And then by the time we spoke to both of them, apparently my daughter needed the content. My son needed the box to make a toy car. So what did we do? Remember? Their interests were different, but they both were on the position, it's mine, I picked it first, it's mine. So what did we do to resolve the conflict? we opened up the box, took out the content and gave the content to my daughter, closed back the box and gave the box to my son. Conflict resolved. So in a lot of instances, just try and identify what is this party's interest in the position they have taken, rather than struggling with their position and your position. Usually, you would find that your interest usually will differ. Then, start negotiating based on the interests. 4, find a win-win scenario. This denotes a situation in which each party benefits in some way, an outcome where everyone comes away happy. For example, my subordinate wants 3 days off for personal family matters in the midst of a challenging situation in the office, and I can't afford to accentuate his family pressures, as he would neither be effective at work for those 3 days if I forced him to stay, nor would he ever forget after the refusal. Now, so his interest is to spend time with his family. He has pressing family issues. My interest is I didn't want work to suffer because we had a conflict in the office. So what did we do again? I recognized his interest and my interest, and then got him to do a proper handover to a responsible, reliable, appropriate alternate colleague who could handle his work while he was away. Also got him to agree that he must be reachable on phone, and if the matter gets out of hand, he will make himself available in the office to quickly resolve, if need be, an hour or two within those 3 days. Matter resolved. Right. So this was a win-win situation for both parties. You see, so this becomes easier if you follow the 3 steps above. As you can see from the example with our children, as well as my staff, that once you uncover their unmet needs, their interests, you will get their resounding yes to a mutually agreeable way forward. In conclusion, next time you encounter a difference of opinion, whether in your team, in politics, in your family, or in any negotiation, ask yourself what interests, not positions, are playing out on both sides. That is how you resolve conflicts and free your organization from the distractions conflicts bring, so that you can achieve your corporate and financial goals. Now, my name is Olusoji Oyawe. I hope this has been helpful to you. Now, where you're in doubt or unable to tap into the benefits inherent in negotiation, as we have discussed here, and resolving conflicts, I'm a certified John Maxwell Team Life and Business Coach. I can be your mirror, not a mechanic, by helping you think through your options and finding the best way forward so that you can build a good organization and a successful business. If this is your expectations, just contact me. You can reach me through info@sojioyawe.com or chat me up on WhatsApp only 234-704-366-7607. And I look forward to helping you grow your life or your business. Right. If you don't need me right now, that's fine. Please keep those details. You just may need me sometime in the future. I hope this week's edition again has been of some help to you. I thank you for your viewership every week, and I look forward to coming your way again Wednesday next week on another edition of SOJ Television. In the interim, please be safe. Bye-bye.